Cobb's throwing leather but not connecting very often. Larry covers well, picked off punches beautifully. Second round is counting down, and there you saw a right and a left and then another, all in rapid combination. Coming to the end of round 3. Cobb is always reaching, and there's the left and right combination by Larry. Cobb scores well with the right. That may have been his best blow of the fight. As we approach the end of the 4th round, and Larry Holmes just gives a boxing lesson to Texas Cobb. Cobb is a tree trunk of a man. He can take a punch. Nosebleed in the 4th round, the Holmes jab getting in repeatedly. Cobb reaching like that, unable to connect with any authority. He got in one right in the 4th round. That was his best blow of the fight. Look at that combination. Holmes tee off on Cobb, but Cobb, the man, doesn't go down, does he? Cobb trying to maul and brawl and somehow get inside and get to Holmes. Got him backed into a corner, but not with real effectiveness. More than halfway through this round. Cobb steadily the attempted aggressor. Larry Holmes countering and punching beautifully. But then there's the opponent. Cobb's right eye beginning to swell. It's the right and then the left again. It's not a pretty thing to see. The recent deaths, laissez-faire apologist of the boxing field. Cobb is a brave man. We will return to the ABC Sports Special after this from our local station. Round 6, and Tex Cobb's left eye is half closed. The nosebleed in the 4th round was not reopened in the 5th. His head must have been carved out of Mount Rushmore, and he certainly has a granite chin. But is this a palatable match? You decide. Cobb misses again and again. Purposefully, Holmes responds as the opportunities arise. See that? 2 blows that didn't connect. This crowd goes crazy even at the appearance of connecting. And so this round wears away. Round 6, halfway through in the manner of all the other ones. But it appears that Cobb scored with the right, but immediately countered with the left by Larry Holmes. Look at that right. It's caught squarely by Cobb, but Cobb doesn't waver, does he? The man doesn't waver. He was hurt there. For a minute it looked like he might go down, but he hasn't. And one worries about the degree of punishment. We are getting ready for round 7. There's the bell. Live from the Houston Astrodome. Round 7, historically, when Shavers floored Holmes, and then Ronaldo snipes. If you think you're looking at an instant replay of each round, you're right. Holmes has led up to this round to this extent. He has thrown far fewer punches and landed far less. Still, there is that rapier-like left. Notice him measuring the opponent, then jarring heavily with the right. Cobb missed and left himself open. There's the left again. Imagine the combinations against this man's head. Imagine the punishment he's been taking. Eve Crossman of Dallas is the referee. The end of the round coming up. Cobb, heavy-legged, ponderous, but with a bravery about him. However, we are not in the age of the Roman Colosseum and the lion. You can see Cobb's face, now all swollen. That left eye, can't see how there can be any vision left in that. Look at those 2 lefts, 2 double hooks. Holmes still moving. Cobb's head snapped back by that last left. He's still making efforts, reaching efforts, mainly pawing. Look at Holmes. He just keeps pouring it on. We're now coming to the end of the 8th round, and you can take the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, or whichever one you want. This is a strong, decent man, Randy Tex Cobb, and I hate to see any man take all this punishment. I mentioned the pall cast over the world of boxing. My pal Don Chevier knows about that. We were together in Montreal the night of Leonard against Iran. Don, you can't measure the aftermath of a fight like this with this kind of punishment. The crowd doesn't understand. Cobb got in one right and the crowd roared, and Holmes answered with a punishing combination. Right to that head that has taken so many blows. And I think of a boxer who I'm deeply fond of personally, Alexis Aguirre, who's taken so much punishment against his second fight after his second fight with Escalera. And now he's talking about wanting to fight again after the prior affair where he lay unconscious for 3 minutes. Round 9. Holmes won't change his pattern. He'll keep using that left as he just did, snapping the opponent's head. He'll take no chances. Championship means too much to him, and you can't blame him for that. He's not responsible for the officials here. But it seems to me someone should think about the degree of punishment. Look at that, holding his glove up to his right cheek. Baseballing. This is brutalization. It's my personal opinion, but I think the referee should think about stopping this fight. I mean, this is not right. And no, he won't go down. The courage of a lion, but why? I don't understand the smile on the face of the handler over there. Look at that, his whole face busted and swollen. Your comments, Don? I couldn't agree more. I think he's taken too many blows, and we might be getting into a danger zone. This fine young man, Randy Cobb, nobody will question his courage. He keeps on coming, but he's been outclassed. There's no sense in him staying unless he gets a lucky punch in, because it isn't worth the price. You're absolutely right. I'm sure Holmes feels the same way. Why don't they stop it? Round 10. When Davy Burrell finally stopped the Ledoux fight, Ledoux claimed that he had Holmes. He was punching himself out, which was an utter absurdity. And quite clearly, Larry's still full of movement. And as the 9th round ended, the punishment he inflicted was simply enormous. He just picking his spots like that. The referee is Steve Crossan of Dallas. I mention his name because he's got a big responsibility here. The crowd roars. This is just terrible. Listen to that. A couple of pawing blows, and the fans cheer like it's affecting Larry Holmes at all, like there's any comparability about the effectiveness of punches. Yes, Randy got in a left, so look at Holmes. Larry using his right more and more in these middle rounds. You see those 2 Cobb blows? Both missed. Round 11, and it goes on and on. The referee, Steve Cross. Look at that head slam back from the Holmes left. Again and again. Cobb, a new experience going into the 11th round. This has to have been a bitter experience, but who knows? Maybe this man can stand up and take it to the 15th round. What does that prove? Who knows what the after effects will be? What goes on in Cobb's thoughts? Well, I'm kind of sorry we listened to that talk. Keep the jab going. There's one person in this fight's got a jab going and going and going in every round, and it's like a recurring piston, and that's Holmes's jab. Poor Randy has just been pawing. Holmes picks off almost every attempt with his own gloves. Otherwise, the blows are short as Cobb reaches, as you see there. Nothing more to say. The glove repair, and we resume action. There goes the left again, another left-to-right combination, and then another left. The crowd was roaring earlier for Cobb before the glove repair. Cobb was brawling and brawling. And look at this. Holmes teeing off again. This kind of savagery doesn't deserve compensation. I'll tell you something, my friend Don Chevier. This is as brutal a mismatch as I think I've ever seen. Exactly, and so one-sided. I can't help but think that we'll be seeing some more of this tomorrow in the amateur Cuban boxing. One rule that I like very much is the standing 8 count. This fight would have been over about 10 rounds ago. It does safeguard the fighters. It's not existent here in the pro ranks. I think we should think about it. Well, that's a good point. So, optional headgear, and I've been through it. I've testified before Congress a number of times. But this referee should take charge. Exactly. This fellow's from Dallas, Texas, Steve Crossman, the referee, and I don't understand his judgment. This is round 13. What is achieved by letting this man take this kind of beating? 15 rounds. Randy Tex Cobb. Holmes just pushes him off, hits him with a left. Look at that. Right, left, right. From the point of view of boxing, which is under fire, and deservedly so, this fight could not have come at a worse time. Round 14. It's all self-explanatory. Nosebleed again. One feels almost a concussion from the mere thought of Holmes's left. And look at Cobb's head. Obviously, this referee has no intention of stopping this fight. The blood all over Cobb's face now. I wonder if this referee understands that he's constructing an advertisement for the abolition of the very sport of which he's part of. The 15th and final round, thank God. Holmes has got to be arm-weary, if nothing else. At the end of the last round, Holmes patted Cobb, and he certainly doesn't want to inflict any more punishment on him. You mentioned that previous round, Howard. Cobb had to turn 3 times to figure out where his corner was. You think he's not hurt? Of course he is. Larry just lets him miss and then starts back in with the right on his way to winning his 15th consecutive round. Reber Burbick took 15 rounds with Holmes, but never took this kind of punishment. Look at how swollen the poor man's face is. Hurry up, clock. Wind these seconds down. Another example right there. Look, he's totally out of it. I can't believe this referee. All right, finally over. It wasn't worthy of commentary in those last 5 rounds, which is why the poor man is still smiling, and look how badly beaten and battered he is. What is achieved by such as this? Larry's not proud. He did his job, but he's not proud. He's a fine, decent man. He can't be happy about this. Where the thought of boxing is concerned, Don and I have been involved with it for 3 decades and more. Called over 3,000 fights. Here's the decision. Yeah, it's a shutout. Yeah, that's a shutout. I called it a shutout, and so did Don Chevrier. Once again, the winner, unanimously. A classic mismatch for Larry Holmes, and there'll be no post-fight interview. Not for this fight.